What is up, guys? I'm KPHD here, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 2 came out about 2 months ago, and ever since then, it's gotten a lot of attention. There's been a constant buzz about it. It's always brought up when you talk about the best phones of 2012, the top high-end phones, the top big phones, the best Android phones. It's just always in the discussion. It is constantly being talked about. And I've carried a Galaxy Note 2 as my daily driver for these 2 months, and something I've noticed is I have never gotten so many questions from strangers about my phone than I have with any other phone. With this Galaxy Note 2, be prepared if you want to buy a Galaxy Note 2, if you want to be a Galaxy Note 2 owner, be prepared to answer questions from strangers in public who come up to you and already know that it's called the Samsung Galaxy and want to know more about your phone. I think it's weird that so many people already know it just by sight. Part of it could be the wealth of Samsung ads we already see on it on TV and on YouTube, of course. Part of it may be the fact that the device is so big that it's hard to miss when someone walks by with it. It's a little bit of a curious combination between a tablet and a phone that makes people want to know more about it. It has a stylus. People are like, what is it? How do you use it? Could I possibly get used to it? It's a weird concept. It's even become my most popular review video ever. Damn, that's a lot of people. Basically, this video is to help you guys who are still on the fence about buying a Galaxy Note 2 by answering some of the most popular questions I get about it. A lot of people want me to compare it to other devices and to give a little bit more information than I did in my review, so this video is for you guys. First thing I get asked about is, of course, the size. So yes, it's a big phone, there's no doubt about that. It has a 5.5-inch display, as we know, and this kind of really pushes it to the limits of what's usable as a phone. But it's nice because it's a relatively thin bezel, and you'll see that it's thinner than the bezel of some other phones like the Galaxy S3, so it doesn't really push the physical size of the phone too big. Here it is in my hand. I'm about 6'2", and I've shown this before, you guys have seen it. I can use the Note 2 as a one-handed device, although it is quite difficult to sneak a text maybe during class when your phone's display is so big. But I've been told that I have really large hands, and I know that that's true, so here it is in my mom's hand. She's about 5'5", and was quoted saying that this is simply too big to be a phone. So for her, if you have small hands, you might want to make this a two-handed device and consider that it's probably always going to be a two-handed device for you. But if you have larger hands, or maybe just kind of semi-large hands, if you're anywhere over 5'10", this is probably going to be okay as a one-handed regular phone use, which is pretty neat. So here it is next to some other phones, including the Samsung Galaxy S3, which you've probably seen in person at some point. And here it is next to the Nexus 7, and yes, it is definitely still smaller than a small tablet. It also fits in the pocket just fine. I can vouch for anything that's not skinny jeans. And also, here's how it looks next to my head while taking a phone call. I actually don't think it looks all that insane. Some people thought it would, but especially from a normal distance away, you probably couldn't tell the difference between that and a Galaxy S3. Another super common question I get is about the display. Is it good enough? I mean, it's big, but is it good? The Droid DNA just became the first somewhat popular phone with a 1080p display. And I can almost guarantee that the Galaxy Note 3 in the second half of this year will have a 1080p HD Samsung display, but I honestly really like the Note 2's display. It's not the brightest in the world, and the viewing angles are pretty good. They're not bad, they're AMOLED displays, but the point is it's big. It's a big, clear, beautiful display that really makes this device. People also want to know about the stylus, and to be honest, I just now use it occasionally. One for gesture typing on the Android Jelly Bean keyboard. That's been my biggest use of the stylus. Super fast and very accurate. And I also started using S-Note just a little bit, but not for anything too intensive. I found it handy just to take random notes during a phone call. People also want to know, how's Touchwiz holding up? Are you going to root it? Well, I've said before, and I'll say it again, when given the choice, I prefer stock Android, no skin. But if I have to choose a skin, I'll choose Touchwiz pretty much every time. It's still running on top of Android 4.1 Jelly Bean here. It's buttery smooth, it takes advantage of the screen size and the stylus as well, so yeah, it's nice. I'm okay with it, but when the black one comes out, I absolutely will root and put CyanogenMod 10.1 on it and run a Super Nexus with Android 4.2. But this is the titanium one, so not yet. Also, the little things, yes, the camera is still very high-end. It takes great photos. I share them all the time on Twitter, and it still takes some of the best 1080p videos of any smartphone out there, so it's definitely worth it if you're in it for the camera. And yes, the speaker is still very loud, and yes, I did put a sticker over the ugly Verizon home button branding. I had to do that. And yes, the battery life still lasts hours beyond my expectations all the time. It is still a beast of a phone. So in the end, it's not your average popular smartphone. It's popular for more reasons than just the specs and what's on the inside. The form factor offers an experience that no other smartphone out there currently does, and I can still recommend it for that reason. So in conclusion, I don't always get asked about my phone, but when I do, it's because it's a Note. Stay geeky, my friends. Peace.